School of Business, Government and Economics now, because we have political science in our suite of programs. So I'm going to ask Kathleen Cummins to come on up, please. I love talking about Kathleen. Kathleen came to SBU from Salem, Oregon, as a freshman after growing up hearing wonderful stories about Seattle Pacific College, which is really interesting, from her best friends Larry, Greg, and Tim Edie, and then later from her sister Jan, her older sister, I presume. She arrived on campus very interested in business classes and eventually created an emphasis in business. But after her first history and then political science classes, thank you to Dr. Woodward, who's here today, you naughty man, and Dr. Jesse Chang. I don't think Jesse's with us, and she was smitten with history and political science. She participated in the American Studies program in Washington, D.C., and served as an ASSP officer, loving every minute of it. She graduated in 1981 with a double major in history and political science and returned to Washington, D.C. and worked on Capitol Hill in 1982. Coming back to Seattle after a year in D.C., she married the love of her life, Scott Cummins. All right, that's brilliant. And then she found her occupational calling in the field of wealth management, and in 1985 joined the predecessor firm of what today is called Morgan Stanley. That was Smith Barney, was it? Yeah, now Morgan Stanley. Kathleen is a senior vice president, leads a team that works in financial planning, investment consulting, and relationship management with a group of families, mainly on the West Coast. She's a frequent speaker on topics of financial freedom, as well as faith, finance, and giving. She has served on our EAB since 2005, and Kathleen and Scott, I'm sure many of you know, have been active supporters and in fact encouragers, mentors, boy, the list just goes on and on, of our social venture plan competition since its founding 10 years ago. And Scott and Kathleen have just been so instrumental in our work on entrepreneurship in general. Scott and Kathleen love our students. Students are often round at their house. They have a very hospitable house to our students, and they find that they get a lot of their energy and life from meeting our students and being hospitable to them. In 2017, Kathleen will complete a 9-year term on the SBU Board of Trustees. And so this is her final academic year on the board. She has chaired the University Relations Committee, bringing her passion around increasing SBU's connection with alumni, parents, and donors. Scott and Kathleen have 2 daughters. Mallory, 2015 grad of Pepperdine. Is that right? Where are you, Mallory? Good on you. Yeah. And then Savannah, a recent grad of King's High School, and she's going to Pepperdine in January. Welcome, Savannah and Mallory. Kathleen, it's a real pleasure for us to give you the Alumnus of the Year Award from School of Business, Government and Economics. And we're glad we have political science on board now. Yeah.
So fun to see him in action. Yeah. He's kind of a force to behold. So thank you so much for this honor to Dean Stewart and to all of you that were involved in this decision. I'm incredibly honored. The school, as you can hear from Scott and I, our involvement is very near and dear to our life, and so it means so much. And I feel like I need to share this award with Scott. He is not an alumnus of SPU. Sorry, honey. But he is so good at encouraging staff and faculty, mentoring students, and I have learned so much from him. So thank you, darling. When I came to SPU, I really had no idea what I was going to do. My parents were not in business, so I was very interested in business, but I didn't know what that was going to look like. And I I wanted to, I was excited to go away for school, and this is in the DNA of our family because our daughters grew up 30 blocks from here, but they've gone to California. So I moved 4 hours north, and it was really exciting, but it was also rather terrifying and overwhelming at times too. But God's love works in mysterious ways and often through professors. So there's 3 professors in my 3 disciplines of history, poli-sci, and business that just made a huge impact on my life. So they shared God's love with me in a tangible way. They showed me by just showing interest in me, and that is just a powerful thing. And it really has worked in my benefit. I feel so blessed. The late Dr. Jesse Chang was very instrumental in teaching me, and Jamie knows of him, teaching me about how to organize being a double major and taking a lot of business classes. So he was my advisor, but he taught me so much. He just taught me so much about freedom and liberty and democracy, having lost all his family's possessions, all their property in China, in a very difficult time. He also taught me, and really all my colleagues, all my other students, he taught us about ourselves. So we're learning about the world, but he was really good at saying, now you approach this way, and these are your skill set. These are the sort of things that you do. And I took those very words to many job interviews because I didn't know that about myself at the time. I took about a half a dozen business classes, and sorry, Ross, that's about all I could squeeze in. I feel terrible about this. All these years on the EAB. Actually, I felt like, an outsider, and now I'm very proud to be one of your government people. But I was so encouraged by my professors. I was just maybe taking 1 or 2 classes from them, and yet they built bridges to me. One of my professors was an accounting professor, Jack Latin. I don't know if any of you took accounting. Anybody in here have Jack Latin? Please see some hands. Yeah. I'm guessing that maybe he took you to lunch at the Wharf, now known as Chinook's. I see some nodding of head. He was great. I think that's why my business is completely built around taking clients to lunch. Thank you, Jack. But he took me to lunch, and he wanted me, to consider being a CPA. Now, this is a little questionable in my mind, considering how well I was performing in his classes, but he told me some words that just rang in my ears, and I was incredibly in awe of what he said. He said, Kathleen, you're partner material. Wow. He described what it was like working with clients, what it meant to be a partner, and how you acquire clients. So he completely opened up to me, someone who wasn't raised in a business family, a previously unknown career path. And then my favorite history professor, who just happens to be here today, hi Bill. Bill Woodward spent time with me, and he encouraged me in my career, and he talked about the fields that history is a huge value to. And he talked a lot about the stock market, and every time he talked about the stock market, my ears would just prick up. So that was very interesting to me. He was very much the first person to describe to me the benefits of history, helping people avoid pitfalls in business, investing, and in life. So thank you, Dr. Woodward. That is just a huge gift. I'm so grateful to my professors, all of them who inspired me. And when I talk to other alums, this is what they get so passionate about. Everybody has a story of 1 or 2 spectacular professors who spoke into their life. A lot of times, I was a small town girl from Salem, Oregon, and my friend who's a CEO on the East Coast, and she said she was a small town girl from Lake Oswego, Oregon, and a couple professors completely changed her life. Told her she could be in business, she could be a CEO. That made all the difference. So I'm going to tell you a secret, and this is the secret to SPU's success. It's our beloved professors. They have poured their love and their knowledge into the students. So I have just one little story before I go. We have a neighbor who's not a believer yet, but he's been a vendor to the school, to SPU. And he's had tremendous interactions with faculty, staff, and he was absolutely floored by the people here. He said that at most universities, the various departments are, and these are his words, at war with each other. He wishes now he had sent his two adult children to SPU. He had never seen a group of adults so loving and considerate of each other. Wow, what a testimony to the world of Christ's love. It reminds me of John 13:35. Our Lord Jesus Christ said, "All men will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." Not only have you loved our students so well, but you have been an example to all of us Christ followers of how to interact with others on a daily basis. So today I'd like to honor SPU's secret to success, our professors. Thank you all.
You know, I'm always talking up our professors as well, but man, when you get a Board of Trustees member doing that, man, I just leave it at that. But really, it is true. The secret sauce to our wonderful university, and certainly to our school, is our professors and their love for our students, which is genuine.